Honestly, married people, how was your wedding night? Hi Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will squeeze a lemon into your eye. Ex-wise. She sat on the floor in front of me. We watched TV while I took the 6,000 hairpins out of her hair. It was a horrible game of pick up sticks as they were all intertwined. After that we crashed. We did something similar, maybe 200 hairpins. With an early flight the next AM. One thing my parents have told me all throughout my life is, leave a day in between the wedding and the honeymoon. My mum was sick the first day or so of their honeymoon, just from the stress and exhaustion of the wedding. How was that next AM flight? Terrible. We got back to the hotel. I carried her across the threshold, and we began to consummate our vows. Moments after we started, there's a knock at the door. It's my mom. She then said we should both come down and visit with the family. Not preferred. Obligatory edit. Holy crap. Gold. Thank you kind redditor. And mum, I guess. There is something incredibly wrong with your mother. Raymond? No ex. Basement of my aunt and uncle's house with my parents upstairs as we all hunkered down in a hurricane. If you can't avoid getting married as a hurricane barrels down on you, I would recommend it. P.S. It's hard to save wedding cake when the power goes out for a week and a half. But do definitely have your storm professionally catered. All the food is nice when the roads are closed or missing. Such a pain when roads go missing like that. We had Chicago style pizza and fricked in a hotel room. Deep dong pizza. Nearly 50 years ago, but one of the best days of my life. We got married in the morning and, after a short reception, we drove to a hotel about halfway to where we were stopping on honeymoon. We were both excellently inexperienced, so it was great fun finding out together. The next morning we felt incredibly close to each other, but we were young, fit and not hungover, so we wanted to move on to our honeymoon bungalow. But when we got to reception there was nobody around and it was all locked up. There was just a bell that rang when you stood on the mat. Eventually someone came to check us out and, despite thinking we had got away with it, my brother had stuffed my wallet with confetti. We had a wonderful honeymoon and a happy life together for nearly 50 years. Unfortunately I have to make the most of the memories as my wife is critically ill in hospital and has a life or death operation on Monday. It was fantastic. We both drank way too much. Went back to the room, gave my wife D, threw up in the shower, ate some wedding cake, then went to sleep. I'll never forget it. We were still drunk from reception. We stripped each other, showered together, and had X on the bed, floor, the table and anything in our hotel room we could frick on. I woke up the next morning in handcuffs. She was the cop and I was the bandit. Whoa. I was 8 months pregnant when we got married. I fell asleep around 10 and my husband stayed up watching TV. I expected him to come in after a few hours so we could, consummate our marriage. Nope. I woke up around 2:30 and he was still watching TV. I went to the bathroom, whined we didn't have X and then went back to bed. I couldn't fall asleep and so I leaned over to grab my iPad to read and that's when my water broke. 7 hours later we had our son. The X was good. She wore XE underwear and we had X in front of a large window in our hotel room. Then we watched some Netflix and continued to get smashed. I would rate the X as significantly better than the time during the 24 hours I decided a Hitler mustache would be a good idea, but still somewhere below the time I was too drunk to do anything but shout oh my god while she rode me. Hope that helps. Oh mein Gott.
Ja, das ist gut.
Faster now Eva. It was great. We were exhausted, so the X was fairly basic and rather quick. But that's one of the benefits of X before marriage. You can both orgasm in 10 minutes or less if needed. One time we had X to completion on an ottoman during the Law and Order intro. To be fair though, those intros. Done. Two joggers in Central Park tastelessly slandering their mutual friend and laughing. They run into a hobo's dead body and scream. Cuts to the same scene, but with 50 investigators and police officers. Let me set the scene. Hotel room set up before our arrival with flowers, candles, champagne, snacks, music playing softly. We enter to find this beautiful jacuzzi tub begging for some action. I was already fairly lit from the reception, so I'm feeling frisky. As my new bride slips into the bathroom to freshen up, I begin to fill the jacuzzi with a nice warm mixture of hot water and dirty thoughts. While it fills up, I begin to set the mood with candles placed around the room and the edge of the tub so I can romanticize my new better half. As she enters the room, I can see the joy and love in her eyes. We movie style rip each other's cloths off and slide into the steaming tub dimly glowing under candlelight. After a brief period of vigorously fondling each other, I reach over and hit the button to start the jets. The sensation of the jacuzzi raised our aquatic lovemaking session to a whole new level. Then without warning we learned the error of our ways. The vibrations emitted from the buzzing spa pump were just strong enough to make the strategically placed mood lighting dance across the edge of the tub, causing the candles to take a death plunge into the water, splashing our naked unsuspecting bodies with molten lava like wax. We had a jacuzzi as well. I, being a naive, inexperienced individual, brought bubble bath and dumped a good handful in, with some extra for good measure. After turning on the jets and slowly watching the bubbles engulf us, I looked at the bottle and saw the do not use in jetted tubs warning. We spent the next half hour carrying armfuls of bubbles to the shower so that we could use the tub again. It was definitely one of our favorite honeymoon memories. X was way better the day we got divorced than the night we got married, haha. Okay, like, stop the machine says. People who get divorced don't automatically hate each other. We met when we were 21, got married at 27 or 28. We partied at our wedding. Hard. Best party I've ever been to still. Everyone we cared about was there. Our wedding saved her parents' marriage. I shoot you not. When we finally got to our hotel room, we were totally hammered. We fricked only, because that's what you were supposed to do. I had whiskey dong. She could barely stay awake. Wasn't fun. Fast forward several years. We grow apart. She travels a lot for work. Gone a lot. Finally gets to the point where it just wasn't fun to be around each other. Our once great ex life is over. We used to enjoy taking a vacation with each other. Over. We had no kids, so after a huge argument we had a talk, decided to try counseling. Didn't help. We just decided to go our separate ways. She took a job transfer. I stayed and sold the house. In NC you have to have a year-long grace period before you get divorced. She moved away with her job. We talked, but didn't see each other for months. Year is up. She's back in town for court so we can legally divorce. Asks me if she can stay with me. I agree, because, really I'm not mad at her, and I missed seeing her. We had been together for so long it's hard not to miss someone. She stayed a few days with me, helping pack the house and shoot. She's very pretty, and we had sex a few times leading up to it. Why? Can't explain it. Closure maybe? Probably, because it feels good. Day of divorce. We go to courthouse and go before the judge. We get divorced. We both got choked up, but knew it was best. That night, at home, just talking, having a few drinks, talking, going through old photos, reminiscing. Something happened. Maybe we wanted one last romp, because we knew we would never see each other again. Maybe it was because I was mad at her, but that ex was incredible. Just pure emotion. We both cried during. Our kissing had more passion than we had felt in years, and it just felt natural. We both knew what we wanted and didn't have to communicate it to each other. I didn't want it to end, until it did. We talked, fell asleep, and said our goodbyes the next day. Haven't seen her since. Will never forget that day. I hate her for a lot of reasons because of things I found out after that day, but I really appreciate those last few days we spent together. It was great. We got married barefoot on the beach in the Bahamas with no one around. Took our wedding photos. As it started to rain. We wrapped up about 20 minutes before our dinner reservations, so my husband and I ran back to our room. Still in the rain, from the main area of the resort, and people were waving at us from their balconies and congratulating us. Back at the room, the resort staff had made towel versions of us on the bed with flower petals everywhere and a chocolate congrats plate. My husband got me out of my wedding dress and I put on a more comfortable dress, and we ran back to the restaurant for a lobster dinner. After dinner we had lazy X in our suite that overlooked the beach, and then had our butler bring us pizza and cheesecake. My wedding day was freaking fabulous. Seriously jealous. This is what my husband and I wanted, but our families pushed for a ceremony, reception. We didn't care what anyone else wanted. We did what we wanted to do, and avoiding people and doing our own thing was totally it. In some ways I wish I had a ceremony and reception to celebrate with my loved ones, but me not wanting that far outweighed it. My mum paid for a lot of our wedding as our wedding gift, but we were prepared to pay for it 100% on our own, so we didn't feel the need to get input from anyone else. Okay Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will squeeze a lemon into your eye.